Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now I've just ridden a Honda monkey bike all the way around the UK, and of course you want to know what crazy thing I'm going to do next. So let me tell you all about it and cue the intro. Well, here is the thing. I've ridden the UK all the way around 16 days on a Honda monkey bike. I've also ridden it north, south, east and west on a pan-European racing mini for charity. But 2023, I want to make more epic, bigger and bolder. Not bold on the head, by the way, just as in like boom, big explosions, fireworks in the background. Now my plan is to do an adventure that I've never done. Nothing like this before ever. It's going to be absolutely epic because I've covered the great British, UK, Scotland, British, Wales. I've covered it all. So my plan for my next adventure is to cover, of course, another country. Imagine a man with a French stick and he's got frogs in his hand, or croissant maybe better, with the ham and the cheese, and he sounds very much like a French person. Because I'm going to go and see all of them. Well, I say all of them. My plan of it is to ride literally across France, cover the whole of France in regards to riding across it, maybe stopping at the coastline, but doing a massive, huge adventure across France. And of course, that is leg one. And then, of course, there'll be leg two that could look like something like riding across, say, the length of Spain. And then, of course, leg three and leg four. But we'll stick with leg one first. Now, partly the reason why I've picked France as the place I want to ride across is because, of course, Senior Lord Head, my father, lives right down on the Pyrenees of France. And I have been there before on an adventure, you can check that out as well. But I've never ridden all the way across to go and see him and then, of course, continue on. And him being there is great for two reasons, because it gives me a secure place to leave the bike and fly back to the UK and then fly back out to do the next leg of the adventure and so on. That's kind of my plan at the minute. And the other side of it is that I want to take a very special present all the way across France just to give it to Senior Lord Head, because of course he is special and he deserves many man hugs, some helmet head attention and a present that he will never ever forget. It's going to be awesome. Can you imagine this adventure already? That's thousands of miles. It's going to be nuts. But the next big question is, I can hear everybody saying, is which motorcycle am I going to do it on? Well, the Honda monkey bike, as we know, has had an incredible amount of abuse. I have thrashed it. I had problems with it during the adventure. And it made it all the way around thanks to so much help from so many people. It had the rear rack welded. It had the exhaust welded. It had a load of stuff. I'm going to go through all that with you in just a second. And I have a plan. And a lot of people keep saying to me that the Honda monkey bike should be put up on a stand at Honda's HQ so everybody that walks by can see this amazing achievement this bike has done. It belongs in the National Motorcycle Museum already because it's a national treasure. I agree with all of you. I 100% do. I've even had people saying to me that bikes should retire and I should get a new one. And I also agree with you on that. It does deserve to retire. But that's not me. I'm a little bit more bonkers, and my opinion of it is that when something needs some love and it needs some work, why not make it better? So in typical 11 out of 10 style, what I want to do is make the Honda monkey bike into the best outlanding beast in the entire world. But I'm going to need some help. So let me show you the bike first, and then let me tell you about all the things I want to do. Check this out. So the Honda monkey bike, after its 16 days around the UK, it has had two cleans. It is covered in ACF 50, literally all over it to try to protect it. But let's just go through what real condition it's in. Now the engine itself, it was burning around half a litre of oil. We think it might be piston rings, maybe more. So that needs sorting out. The air filter here, as you can see, is held on by a plastic tie, and it worked, but that needs to be sorted out. The Tenshi exhaust as well is actually lower than it originally sat. You can see where it sat here because that snapped during the adventure, needed to be welded. That is the weld that was done as a temporary fix. That is blowing. This is very much past best. That needs to be replaced. And then we'll move on to the rack. The rack that I put too much weight in, that got bent, that then people welded for me, that was Rory And it was, do you know what? Rory and Dave did an awesome job, and this survived the entire adventure. When I got home, so this is riding home at the very, very end, can you see here? The rack gave way and cracked. That's not actually... Yeah. That needs to be changed. That, I believe, is the current condition of the bike. The engine, the air filter, the exhaust, and that. Let me tell you what I want to do to it though. So what I want to do is, the engine obviously needs sorting out. Ideally, I want to be able to do something that will give it a little bit more horsepower, but basically piston rings, whatever's needed to that engine to stop it burning as much oil. That's part one. Then the air filter itself. The air filter, I'd either put the original back on, but I ideally would love to get a proper well-known brand performance air filter put on there. So the 10-sheet exhaust, what I'd like to do is replace that with a Scorpion exhaust. It's the one that's black. It looks absolutely awesome with the baffle in, so it's not too noisy, and then that fits nicely behind the suspension. Moving on to the suspension itself, what I'd like to do is replace the stock suspension to aftermarket decent suspension. I can adjust the preload on some really good stuff, because it was bottoming out as I was going down the road on the trip to do with the weight, and that's kind of the biggest sort of change that will really, really improve the bike. And then what I want to do is put a heavy duty rack on the back, but also put a front rack that goes over the light on the front, where I can put some of the weight there as well, because that way I can spread the weight out a bit, and obviously that rack was not up for the job, so improve that. And then what I'd like to do is be able to put some small fuel cans, either change the box, something that can get it, or get something on here so I can have a couple of small fuel cans strapped, because the bike will do around 100 miles to a tank, and what I want to be able to do is be able to empty those fuel cans in when I need to and extend that mile, so I'm never panicking about running out of fuel, because I'm pretty sure this trip I'm going to be mostly by myself. That should make the Honda Monkey Bike into an overlanding beast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to all the products that I'm thinking about down in the description. Check them out, tell me what you think, because I want to make this into a proper beast to be able to go across multiple countries. So with what I'd like to do would create the Honda Monkey Bike into an absolutely epic overlanding beast. But I need to be quite honest and frank. Currently for me, I'm still paying back the last adventure. I was not joking when I turned around and said I put it on my credit card. Well, about half of the chunk of it, I've almost paid it off. And that's the way I live my life. Wrong or rightly, I want to do my adventures, I make them happen. And that backup credit card is what it's for. And exactly will be the same in the next adventure. I will build up a small pot of money to be able to take to do this adventure, and I'll have my backup credit card for when things go wrong or when I run out of cash, to make sure that these adventures continue to happen. So that being said, I think the Honda Monkey Bike is going to need around 1,000 to 1.5 grand's worth of parts, plus the time to go into it. What means I've got to raise that money for that to happen, for that to be the bike that I take. Now, I want to put out there that I would love, absolutely love, to get some companies or a company, a garage on board that are willing to transform this bike. And part of that will be an incredible series about the garage, the business, getting involved, getting the bike sorted, and obviously spending a few days doing a bit of riding with that business. That would be absolutely epic, and we can get the Monkey Bike done, and then they will become sporters of that adventure. Ideally, sponsors of the channel, if we come up with the right deal, would be absolutely epic. And the Monkey Bike will live an absolutely awesome life, and it will go on this crazy adventure. The other side of it is that potentially I will go off for a month, maybe two, work my butt off, put a load of money together and do my 11 out of 10 job and create the Outlander monkey cycle, and it will be absolutely bonkers, crazy, epic. But we will make this happen one way or another. The other thing is, the other option is, there is the Harley Sportster that we do have on the channel. That is ready to go. There is no reason why I can't jump on that and ride that across Europe. No breakdown cover, could be a story by itself. Plan A is to take the monkey cycle. Hopefully we'll get some brands and some people involved and make this into an unbelievable beast of a machine. That is kind of my plan. Now, I'm extremely lucky to have had more patrons, more channel members join us, loads of awesome super chats and thanks. I massively appreciate it. All this money does go towards the channel, the running of the channel, the kit, and mostly at the moment the adventures and getting things sorted. I massively appreciate it. It's actually really humbling to see the numbers grow and the support the way that it does. So that's the plan. Plan A, Honda Monkey Bike into an overlanding beast, across France, French stick, croissant. It's going to be absolutely epic. And then, of course, we'll see where the adventure takes us from there. Fingers crossed we can make this happen quickly. We'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting time for the channel. There is loads of other stuff going on. As we all know, there is the Helmet Head Festival. That date is literally going to be getting confirmed and launched any day now. We've got a Patriot meet going on. We've got, what else we've got the Mali Mile race going on. There is loads already going on next year. The whole point of this adventure is it's going to be leg by leg. I'm going to go out and do a chunk of it. I'm going to fly back, do some other stuff, fly back out and do the next chunk. It's going to be epic. It's going to be cool. Let's make this happen. I can't wait to bring you along. And I will see you on the next crazy episode on this channel. Bye-bye for now.